Hi, this is Susan Fleming. Glad you're joining me again for another video. Today we're going to talk about what is the most expensive thing to fix in a house. So, as you can imagine, there are a lot of expensive things to fix in a house. The roof is expensive, replacing all the windows is expensive, the heating and air is expensive, plumbing, wiring, those are expensive, replacing a sewer line is expensive. But the most expensive thing that I have seen that needs fixing in a house and that has cost me some sales is structural issues. So many of you have probably looked at a house that has structural issues, and for example, there's been a couple of houses that I've showed time and time again because they look good, people want to see them, but you go there and they're like a ranch style home that's got a basement built on a hill and the dirt is pushing the wall in. There was this one great house in a great neighborhood, but the dirt was pushing the wall in. And every time I showed it, I mean, it was advertised for like $40,000. And people were working like, what a great deal. And I knew they probably wouldn't like it because of the structural, but I would go show it anyway. And apparently it finally went under contract because the price dropped low enough. And again, as I said, any house will sell for the right price. So the price had dropped low enough, so it needed the structural repair. But you know, let's look at what do structural issues typically cost. So depending on if it's just stair-stepping cracks, which is not necessarily a structural issue because a lot of houses built in the 60s will get these stair-stepping settlement cracks. So that's usually nothing to worry about. You can just fill those and they'll be fine. The concern is when the blocks are starting to move and shift, or when the wall is clearly bowing in. And then, you know, that's something you need to be concerned about because the way to repair those is pretty expensive. It can cost anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 to repair those bowing walls. And there's different ways of doing it. I have seen in some of these ranch style homes that have the full basement, they'll have a I-beam. They'll have a series of I-beams about 6 or 8 feet apart all along the wall, and then they're attached with straps to the flooring system above, and then down below they're attached to the floor, and so they keep the wall from moving any further, and then you can build a wall in front of it and hide that if you wish. But that's an expensive fix to put in, but it does make the house sound again. I just listed a house that had the chimney had shifted away from the house, and so the homeowners had to have that repaired and have the chimney pushed back and attached properly to the house. And they did get a warranty, a lifetime warranty that goes with the work on that, and so that went along to the new homeowners. And so it made the house still attractive, but it was an expensive fix that the sellers, the homeowners, had to do before they could sell the house. So keep that in mind when you're looking at houses. You know, check out the structural condition. And if you see something that looks suspicious, what you would want to do then is to, if you want to make an offer on the house, just make your offer contingent on getting a structural inspection on the house. And a structural engineer would do that. They are licensed, they're qualified, they're specially trained to assess issues like that. So they can go and look at it and let you know if it is something to be concerned about or something that you should get estimates on fixing. So if you see the house that you love it and that's the only issue, you know, you don't necessarily have to walk away if you're willing to put in the money needed to straighten that the structural issue, or if the sellers are willing to come down on the price to accommodate, to offset the structural issue. So those are some ways to deal with it. Typically most people are so fearful of structural issues they don't want to deal with them, and they are tricky to deal with. So if you find, if you're choosing between two houses and one of them has a structural issue and the other one doesn't, and you could go either way, go with the one that doesn't have the structural issue because it will be a cleaner, easier deal to move through. But structural issues can be fixed. Anything about a house can be fixed, it just takes some money. So it's just how much are you willing to spend, and you got to find the right contractors to do that. So I've got a list of contractors that I call for the various issues that I run into on different homes. We get estimates, we get them resolved. So it's just a matter of, you know, how are you going to solve the issue. But as far as most expensive fixes on a house, structural, hands down. And that would be the most scary for most people too, structural issues. So if you've got any other questions about structural issues, feel free to drop a question in the chat or in the comment box down below, and we will address that in a future video. So maybe I'll even interview a structural engineer one of these days. So feel free to leave me some suggestions, because I want to make this video series interesting for you. I want to answer your questions, because I really value getting the knowledge out there. I love what I do. I love talking about it, and feel free to ask me anything, and I'll do my best to answer it the best I can. Thanks so much. It's been great talking with you, and I will see you on my next video.